Hey Tyler, it's been a while since you've seen me. Since December last year, so 10 months roughly. I don't know when you'll see this. It's October 25th today. I don't really know how to quite kick this off. First, this isn't a public video, so you can relax. It's privated, so you can only watch it from the link I gave you. And no one else has seen this. No one else will see this. This isn't one of those girlfriend videos from before. What else? Oh, and if there are any hard cuts throughout this, that means that I went into a coughing fit shortly after. It's been something that's, it's gotten worse this year. And it kind of affects my speech at times. I just recently had a bunch of MRIs done. I have a lot to say to you. A lot. And I'm not sure if it's even worth talking about because you've demonstrated that I'm not worth listening to. But I guess I'm here. If you're watching this, it's because I wanted to move on from this, but not without saying my final piece. I'm making this because I'm done holding out for you to talk to me. I can't wait forever. I don't want to wait indefinitely, and I wanted to get what I had to say out now in case I end up waiting for you forever, because I don't want to dwell. I want to move on from this, and basically just wanted to use this as a stand-in for when you were ready to hear me. I was hoping to talk to you human to human. I feel our conversations don't do well on text. For you, it seems to help to see and hear me. You know, back when we were first talking 3 years ago, around this time. I think I mentioned this before, but like how you didn't seem to take too well from being apart from me, or I don't know, I guess I shouldn't phrase it that way. Just dating back to like the very beginning where like, you know, I'd be back in Wasilla and I don't know, you were just like really short with me. So I don't think this is a new thing. This isn't a new thing. This isn't something that has remained dormant. This is a constant thing that I've had to work around with you. But yeah, I was hoping to talk to you person to person. And after I'm done making this video, I'm done discussing this. You can write me something or whatever you want to rebuke anything that I've said. I'll definitely read it or hear you out, but I will not reply to it. This is everything I have to say to you, and I can't talk to you again until you watch this to the end, and you'll understand eventually. We have a lot of baggage that we never dealt with. Excuse me. There are things that need addressing, just things that we need to see eye to eye on before we can even humor the idea of talking again. And if you never watch this or talk to me again, that'd be unfortunate, but I also accept it. I don't know, as much as I miss how you used to be and wish for you to get better, my life has been very good lately. I'm calmer these days. Many things are looking up, many improvements made. My self-esteem is much better. I'm sleeping better. Little stress and worry. And new things to look forward to. And I hope you've been doing all right yourself. You may think that I'm psychotic or whatever for putting so much effort into letters and videos and all these fucking parades I seem to throw, constantly trying to talk to you, but I wouldn't try so hard if I didn't give a fuck, you know? I've seen what a good soul you actually are, and that's my light at the end of the tunnel that I was hoping to reach again, I guess. It's one of those things that, like, if I'm arguing, I care. And if I'm quiet, I'm done, type of things. But yeah, I don't know how much effort I want to put into something that you may not even watch until the end, or at all. Or you may not even contact me again, and so I can respond by sending you this. So that's just going to be, it's just going to be a patchwork, like a patchwork of subjects held together solely by some bulletin points I'm looking at. And a big apology to you at the end. There's something that I need to say and you need to hear at the very end of this. I wanted to end things in good terms, but I can't wait forever for that. I've got a new life awaiting me, and I'd like to get this all out before I walk away. You are welcome to share this, I guess, but be careful with who you either watch this with or share this with, because I briefly touch upon some confidential, just you and me subjects. But I still don't want anything getting out. What am I trying to say? I don't want anything getting out that you don't want to, if that makes sense. Kind of farmed that sentence. I'm going to try and keep things in order, but the reason I may jump around at points is because I have a lot to say, but haven't really let myself dwell on this too much, because these are painful and disheartening topics for me to deal with. So I haven't really organized my thoughts fully. So I apologize if all this seems unorganized or rambly. This is partially going to be a dress down, but I'm not going to cuss you out or scream or anything. But I'm also not going to sugarcoat anything anymore. I've been too charitable and lenient and diplomatic for too long to not see any healing or improvements. And things have just gotten worse. I would have liked to seen a happy ending come of this if it wasn't going to work out. I would have liked for us both to walk away from this with no hurt feelings and possibly a smile. But yeah, I'm sorry if this doesn't come out structured or cohesive again. I didn't want to stress too much about making this. I'm already floundering. I'm not going to make the case that I'm a blameless victim. I'm really not going to go for that angle, that I'm just like the only one hurt here. I just felt like you really couldn't see where I'm coming from. And you don't really... It's like I understand what I did, but I just don't feel like you ever understand what you do. How about we start this over and start at the beginning and give some structure? I'm going to start following my bullet points here, and hopefully that better allows some sense to be made. So let me... So main topic number 1. All right, so for a very long time now, I've had a really hard time coming to you about anything. You quickly went from somebody I could be open in front of and to somebody that I have to, like, I feel like I have to watch what I say and think and feel around. With almost no transitionary stage. It was just like a light switched. Like, I don't know. You refuse to take anything I say seriously, it seems. You ascribe to me traits and thoughts that I do not have. That I think you're this that I think you're cruel and out to get me, that I'm deranged and unwell. I mean, you imagined a scenario where I was going to come to your house and kill myself on your doorstep, which is insane and unfounded, but you decided to go with it. You told me that you doubt whether or not I've been abused by past partners. I vividly remember you saying that twice, questioning the validity of my stories. And as somebody who's experienced abuse in schools from students and staff, and at home from a parent, and in relationships from partners, I don't appreciate that characterization that I'm not to be believed. Because of what? Because I had a mental health crisis 2 years ago. It's fucked up. You bring up Nick a lot for some reason and believe that he and I just shit on you in unison and just agree on hating you together. Like I go to him looking for validation and he won't give me any pushback, so I just talk mad shit about you as he stokes the fire. When in actuality, him and I are always butting heads. Like we're pretty polar opposites in some ways. And while we never really fight, we're both stubborn and clash a lot. Go away, Norton. I'll update you when I'm ready for you, bucko. But yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But that's you who goes around talking about me. You talk about me. You do these things about me. Like that's a you thing. I don't go to Nick and banter about you and rag on you. I don't really talk about you, honestly. Like not anymore. You know, so many memories with you, like just in the last couple of years, that are just so like woven into me and just like tethered to every fabric of my memory from the last few years. But like and it's difficult to not talk about you because like you're so integral in the last like my recent, you know, my 30s so far. So but like no, I don't talk about you. I don't rag on you. I don't know. I could go on and I don't even want to know how much of this narrative you're giving to those within your proximity. And I know you are to some extent. My girlfriend has the screenshots, and I know how gossipy you can get. So throughout this conversation, I'm going to be reminding you a bit about that you wanted to be friends, that staying in touch is something you asked of me. But you are so quick to flip the tables and walk away from it when anything comes up. I feel like that's something you really need laid out for you to give you perspective as to how hard I've tried to keep my end of the deal and how aggravating it's been dealing with your hair-triggered temperament. Your ideas of me are very ingrained and knee-jerk reactionary, and it's hard to break through to you through them. Sorry. Just like these wild and offensive, vilifying opinions of me that you've developed and let fester in you make you react in ways you hadn't before. And I had mentioned to you back in July 2021, you became noticeably annoyed with things that I'd say or do, or situations, things that for the first 16 months that we were, knew each other, never were an issue. And then just like all of a sudden, like you'd belittle me. You began dropping words like stupid here and there, picking fights with me. You'd shift friendly debates into me ending up in tears, and yet I'm the one you say changed. Like you used to be so careful and considerate with your words, and now you're just so careless, and even in some instances it feels very deliberately adversarial. I don't understand. You're not so much belittling anymore. That was just kind of a phase through 2021. I feel like you don't do that as much. You don't call me stupid anymore. I think you learned not to talk like that to my face since last year. But you still you still feel like you want to fight me a lot. And I'll be providing examples later. That's another theme that I'm sure will recur, is that you've become some kind of a wrecking ball and no longer realize the impact of your words and actions. Or maybe you do realize, and your regard for me is what's now gone. I put more faith into this than that was warranted. I always do with everyone, and I have to learn this lesson each time. It's a lesson that I've had to learn multiple times in my life. I make myself available to people I love longer than I sometimes should. I was hoping to smooth things over, settle our troubling differences. Sorry. Settle our troubling issues, explain to you how you've made me feel for so long, and own up and apologize for hurting us both that night. I just wanted to end things on good terms with you. And I really hope you learned from this as much as I have, Tyler. I wouldn't have endured and stuck around for this long, for so long, if I didn't think you were worth it. And you were a best friend to me. Real quick, kind of a side point I want to make. I didn't know where to put this point, so I'm cramming it right here. I don't know if you got a Snapchat notification. I don't know when it would be. September or earlier this month. I don't know. I don't know if you got a Snapchat for me at some point since our friend breakup, whatever you want to call it. So I had gotten a new phone, right? And in transferring all my data, it also restored my login credentials for all my apps. But for Snapchat, it remembered my older account, which I just hit login, right? So I've got two Snapchats for some reason, I guess, and it's like they're only like 2 letters off. It's like Capricorn 907 and Capricorn 907 AK or something. Excuse me, or some shit. Yeah, it remembered the old credentials for the one I don't use. I don't know which one is which. They look the same, and I just hit login. And because the 2 @ handles are only 2 letters different, I thought I was entering the right one, and I saw I had a bunch of friend requests, all from people I knew, and it was like 2 a.m. And I was still like dicking around with my phone. I was up all night with it, and I was tired, so I just accepted them all. And yeah, I was tired, and realized one of them was from you, and panicked, and I realized that like, oh, Tyler must have added this other account at some point. I'm not on the right account. So right after I accepted your request, from whenever you sent it, I unfriended you. I panicked and unfriended you. So yeah, if that wasn't me trying to pester you, straighten this. That wasn't me trying to pester you. I just lost my fucking train of thought. If you got a notification saying like Kurt accepted your friend request or whatever the fuck, however it appears, that was just embarrassing for me. And if you got a notification, I'm sorry for bothering you inadvertently. And I didn't want to shoot you a text and explain that, you know, as to further disturb you. If you weren't notified, then never mind. But yeah, I've wondered if you even still like me. Like, if you even feel like this is a lost cause. Like, because I feel like I'm alone in fixing things with you, and I can't do it anymore. You know, if you didn't want to be friends, I could have just accepted that and moved on. I just felt strung along for a second year in a row with you, I guess. You want to be friends, I try and hash out our baggage last year that clearly needed addressing. You freak the fuck out on me, and then you come back into my life, and you hid me from people like I'm this dirty little secret you shouldn't be talking to. And then this. And then this. When I feel like we should break away and call things off maturely, you give me the silent treatment. Like you even have the high horse to look down upon me from. You know, like I would have liked to have ended things in good terms, but it seems that you're not interested. I'm tired of being the only one to take this seriously. I can't work with someone who's so untrusting of me and who thinks these messed up things about me, who thinks that it's like I'm fighting against a mangled looking patchwork simulacrum made up to look like a fucked up version of me in order to even get to you. I I can't get you to talk to me. You don't want to fix anything, and you didn't want to end things gracefully. You just want to be on this weird, very like short reply, like, where should I mail it? What was it? Where should I mail the file to? I'll just send it to your mom's. I don't want to talk. Just like, is there a person in there I could talk to? I don't know, man. I feel really mistreated, honestly. But I kept trying. I kept trying. What does that say to you? Does that mean anything to you? I just want to have a conversation without fearing you're going to flip your shit on me, without being misrepresented, mischaracterized. You don't take in anything I have to say. I can only imagine what it's like for you. Oh geez, Kurt's crying foul again, or Kurt's bringing up drama. And then it's just like browbeat, silence tactics. Your silence tactics really concern me, and should you as well. I'm not going to make any educated guesses or speculations, but it really is something that freaks me out, making you difficult to approach for a long time. I don't really recall you resorting to such tactics when I met you, so either this is a newly emerged trait or something that's revealed itself after dormancy. And again, I don't like to think of myself as a victim of any sort. Kill me. And I don't like going hard on you. I do not take joy in it. I don't like being adversarial with somebody I value so much. But meeting you head on and overcoming my fear and coming down hard on you is the only time I ever feel like anything is heard. So yeah, we're going to talk about you. I know all of what I did wrong, but you don't seem to know quite what you've done here. You don't seem to really know, like, your role in all this. I'm going to be repeating a lot of things throughout this because I want them to be heard. Not heard as in you hear them and then move on to the next thing I say, but actually hear them. Another one of those things is that I don't Another one of those things is that I don't vilify you. I've held out for you for so long in hopes that you would get better. And I was actually actively trying to not think ill of you. I've never thought you were a bad person, despite everything I've dealt with. I'm trying to think of what I could possibly say to make it clear. I just want to be friends. I just wanted to be friends. But I'm just done now. My only thing now is that you have some unanswered problems that I had a hand in creating and have caused extreme changes in you. Like, I did this. And even though I can't handle this anymore, I do feel obligated to help you through your trauma. I've always wanted to. I tried to, or I didn't know how to. Again, I don't know how much of this is worth discussing. Like, I don't know how much discussing this is useful at all. But I'm not really here to repair a friendship again. Just giving a chance, I'm just giving a chance at closure before I'm gone completely, I guess. Because we've done irreparable damage to each other, it seems. And I have some things to atone for and express myself. I'll save the more root cause topic for last. But Kurt, you're not accepting any blame. I absolutely am. In July, I did. Before you blocked me, I did. When I messaged you in September, I did. And I plan to address more if you'd give me a chance. In fact, I'm always trying to be equal with you. You're the one who shouts me down, thinking you're in the clear. It's always me who has dirt on their hands to you. And unless I really go hard on you, you never display any moments of reflection or admission. I hate having to practically beg you to look inward. I don't like being that type of friend, and I don't like having that as a friend. I'll let you know straight up, I don't like this new Tyler that I've had to work with and be patient with for the last 2 years. Learning all of what sets you off and all the little fights I'd get bogged down into towards the tail end of living with you. The stinging words, having to bottle up everything and the tiptoeing, being the one to apologize, repair things, and then extend the olive branch to every time. But I had a hand in this new dynamic of ours. I changed you in some ways, and that's solely the only reason I bothered to think of you anymore. You know, again, I try to weed you out of my. I try to weed out little things like Chimkin and Conk and Cheeseburger. You know, every time I go to Red Robin, it's just like Cheeseburger. You know, I try to weed shit out like that, but like the only things that I really go to when thinking about you, like the only things that like make me want to like think about you is like I have a guilty conscience about like hurting you, and I feel obligated. I just feel obligated to like I don't know, do whatever I can to help you or help you find somebody to help you, or I just can't leave you behind like that, you know? And that's solely the only reason I really think about you, you know, or explain or to explain anything to you now. In other words, my love for you has been recontextualized, but it hasn't gone anywhere. I knew things weren't going to be these. I knew things weren't going to be the same after we ended. But when you proposed that we stay friends, I really felt like you meant it. Part of being friends is being on good terms, though, and we never got past our old baggage. And with these nasty feelings and dumb fuck notions of me, you went from somebody who got me to somebody who completely missed the mark. I don't know. It's like I want to be friends, but not really. I want to stay in touch, but still harbor resentment for what you did. I hope you know that I'm sorry I couldn't bring enough to the table. I've really farmed it in a few places, but each time I want to talk with you. Like each time, you know, each time something happens, I just want to talk to you. I've never had that many friends over the course of my life, but I take every one of them seriously when they come to me for anything. I know you like to think Nick is just my clone, and our stances and opinions come from a weird hive mind, but he pisses me off at times, yeah. We won't agree on things, and I'll need a few days without talking before I'm ready to hash things out. And strangely enough, big shocker, Tyler, we came out the other side as friends. So much so that he made me his best man at his wedding, and he hypes his girls up when Kurt's coming over. And we're now 15 or some shit years in and still going. The way you like to hit and run every time something comes up doesn't lead to that kind of endurance. I must have really misunderstood what kind of friends you wanted to be. Just calling me best friend, best friend. I've had best friends. And this ain't it. Miss me with that one. I'm just so tired of being made feel guilty and about every step I take. I'm tired of the projection. I'm tired of anything I say or do being what causes you to blow up and then go silent for months. I'm tired of being mislabeled. I'm just done trying anymore. I'm just I'm done being reminded with every interaction I have with you, there being this undertone of, Kurt, you tried to kill yourself. This is why she's weird now. Like every time I talk to you, it's just like, I just feel like I'm talking to a haunted person. And I'm the malevolent, yeah, I'm the fucking ghost. Like I'm talking to, I don't know. That was a weird fucking, I don't know. Like even with simple text conversations, I feel like there's a haze on the ground, like you're keeping me at a weird arm's length and being standoffish, waiting for me to slip up. If all of this is really what you think of me, and you're set in your belief that I'm not to be trusted, that I'm deceitful, that I'm out to hurt you, that I'm simply wrong about everything, all of these things that I even went over with you this summer in June, during our phone call. I can't do this anymore. I can't do any more other than what I've already done to convince you otherwise. It just hurts to have such a good friend turn on me so hard and resent me and mistreat me and think ill of me. If there's nothing else I can say, then you might as well just end the video here. All right, the Facebook shit. Firstly, I am sorry. I think I've already apologized for this in September. I gave you kind of an abridged apology. I'm sorry. I thought a number of your social media posts were subtly aimed at me. So I sent you a couple screenshots, like 5 or something, between Taylor and I. That's really the only amount that her and I have talked about you. But in those screenshots that I sent, whenever it was, September, like as I wrote, I felt as though you often have been holding back things to say to me. Yeah, did I word that right? I feel like you've been holding back things to say to me because of my suicide attempt. You clearly hold it against me, and it has colorized your perception of me. It's something that comes up every time you and I kind of, rub wrong against each other. So I began to read between the lines of things you'd say. I'd see something that you'd post or hear something that you'd say, and often wondered if you were trying to tell me something without telling me. I kind of felt like you're holding back things to say. So it's just like I just psych myself out, and it's just like, oh, is that about me? I just get vibes from something, and I've always been able to hold it in and not ask questions, But that one just felt way too pointed and specific, and it felt tailored for me to read. In fact, Taylor saw it and thought it was about me also. She was like, Kurt, did you and her like have like a did she want to like do your lashes or something and you not let her? And I was like, yeah, I think so. And I was like, I seem to remember her like wanting to do my eyelashes. And I remember telling Tyler like, yeah, I just don't like, I've had my eyelashes done. I've done them myself, and I don't like stuff on my lashes. I already have like really long eyelashes, and they already like clump up together, like even with water in them. So it's like really uncomfortable. So I was telling Taylor, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's about me. It feels weird though. So, um, but yeah, Taylor saw that, and I'm not using that as this is an apology. I'm not using that to bolster myself when I should be apologizing. I guess I'm just explaining. But yeah, I saw that, and instead of holding it in or even going to you like an adult about it, I made a snarky post about it. So if they absolutely if they absolutely were not about me, then I accept that and I apologize. And I regret making a fool of myself and upsetting you. You may not want to hear me talk about this, but we need to talk about it because it's something you need to hear. And it leads into a much broader issue that you have. That that I would hate to see affect your future relationships, you know? I'm here talking to you because I still somehow care. And call it sunk cost fallacy or something, but I consider you a worthwhile person to be on good terms with. And even though I don't intend to keep you in my life for much longer, I don't want to end things on such a sour note. And the other thing is, you don't get to hurt people and say the kind of stuff you've been saying and then hide. I was hoping to smooth things over before we parted ways. And this conversation leads into this topic and the other apology I have lined up at the end. But yeah, if you're sitting there thinking, why doesn't he get over things, and why does he want to talk about this? Still, it's October. Why is he thinking about this? Then I'd say to that, you know, part of this actually is about your lack of wanting to address or confront difficult issues, and how hard it is to talk to you about anything serious. And I guess I'll let August be the last example that I give. I mean, come on. I'm supposed to be the autistic, avoidant, non-confrontational one. And I know you've rolled your eyes at this video by now, at some point. But you unloaded on me pretty hard last time, before I could pull my car over and make any points. So you can listen to me for a little bit. I think that's fair. But yeah, August. Quick aside before I start. Let's not forget that you not too long ago read way too much into some basic white girl quotes that I was sharing online. Do you remember that? Do you remember when I posted a bunch of stuff on Facebook? So you're allowed to read into my posts, but I'm not allowed to feel offended by one of yours. Your misstep was far more severe, need I remind you. You sent 2 armed policemen to my door at midnight, and I didn't throw a hissy fit and block you. I talked to you like an adult. I wrote it in letter form because I had to cool down and write my thoughts before presenting them. And then we talked it out over the phone. If either of us should have flipped out, it should have been me. Your misreading resulted in firearms in my house at 12 o'clock at night. I'm not saying I'm in the right, but just something for you to chew on, I guess. Like, do you see the difference? Do you see the difference in how you and I treat each other yet? Keep your eyes open, and I don't know. So keep your eyes open for more dichotomies to come. But probably the most disturbing thing to me, though, at least from the conversation portion of what happened, we were texting, and you mentioned that we're not understanding each other, you know, on August 7th or 8th or whenever that happened. I was driving, and I was looking for a place to pull over. You texted me, you said, we're not understanding each other, Kurt. And then I mirror that sentiment and suggest that we're talking past each other and not seeing the issue eye to eye. Like I agree with you, like I'm agreeing with you, and you write it off like it's the stupidest thing you've ever heard. Like you write it off and you just respond like it's the dumbest fuck thing you ever heard. Which that right there underlines just that point, a lack of seeing eye to eye. You went into your anti-rage You're anti-Kurt rage mode. You sent rapid fire texts without even reading mine. And anything you do glance at, you reflexively swat away. Like literally, like most of what I said, you played what I like to call text leapfrog. Where someone will skip over someone else's paragraph with a continuation of their own tangent in an unbroken sequence. Like basically just barreling through somebody, you know, in text form, just kind of like just plowing through them. So yeah, that, and just disagreeing with anything you did read, even if it was to agree with you. I don't know how I'm supposed to deal with something that, I don't know how I'm supposed to like work with someone like that when you get that way. And at the rate at which you do this shit it's gradually increased. I can't hang with it anymore. I find it so depressing that each time you do this, you're just so willing to throw everything away so easily. You're just so nihilistic now. Old Tyler wouldn't do this. You just want to burn everything and run off. And that leaves me fucked up each time. Trying to figure out how to pick up the pieces on my own afterward, and so I can reassemble them again, and you know, present them to you at the end of an olive branch. What do you want? Starbucks rewards, sweet. And despite me clearly having a panic attack, like I just had a strong attack there, clearly having a panic attack while doing that, while texting you, while driving, you know, making all these typos. I'm like, at one point I say I need water. I don't know why I texted you that. Like, you could fucking give me water, even if you wanted to. Despite me clearly having why can't I say panic attack? A panic attack during all that, I was the calm one. Like, did you notice that? I just wanted to talk about it and explain my position and understanding of things, and possibly admit to any wrongdoing I may have caused. Well, you're just over there freaking the unholy fuck out, machine gunning the chat into oblivion and blocking me in the Tyler-like hit and run fashion we all know and love. You even opened with, like, go back, look at, you even opened with, maybe we should talk about it. And then you go against your own words and silence me. I don't know if you ever reread our conversations after this happens. If it's ever clear to you what goes on. If you ever step back after you've cooled off and re-examine a situation and have any moments of reflection. Or if you just want to doom yourself to a behavioral pattern. Like, I understand how it feels to get caught up in a moment, in a feeling of anxiety or frustration. I feel that way often. I'm willing to be patient with a friend, you, who's going through that, even if it means taking a few lashes myself. But the difference is that I'm able to assess myself in a situation after I'm okay again. I straighten myself up. I make sure everyone in my vicinity isn't hurt by anything I said out of frustration. I re-examine things. Now that I'm level-headed. Not once have I seen you acknowledge yourself afterwards or show any kind of awareness. You just want to be buddies again and move forward. Like, you just come back into my life. You just like unblock, you hit friend, add friend, and you just want to be friends again. And when I address anything, it's drama. Oh my God, Kurt, why do you have to overanalyze and dwell on things? Why do you got to bring up drama? It's drama, Kurt. This inability to go back and repair things of yours is what I absolutely attribute to us getting to this point. I've done things, yes, clearly. I've fucked up. But you're not making any things better by just kind of just sweeping things under the rug and then just forcing a friendship to happen from that. Like, I don't know how much more we can cram in the closet before it busts open, you know? I just, ironically, ironically, this is a precedent that I may have caused with me taking so long to acknowledge the gravity of my suicide attempt. Like how I'd never want to talk about it for the first few months, you know? But now this is a trend of yours. You just don't want to talk about things. It's drama otherwise. It's just, and again, despite me panicking on my end and knowing what's about to happen, not having any having time to respond to everything coming my way, I remained pretty calm and willing to listen and hear you out. I didn't get fully upset until I learned you were talking to everyone else but me about it. So yeah, um, the next day I woke up and I had a ton of people unfriend and even block me. My question, besides what the fuck is wrong with you, is what the hell did you tell everyone that would make like all 12 of them break away from me like overnight? Like, what did you spread and why? It must have been pretty bad or unfounded to get them all to bail on me within a 7-hour time frame. Like, so yeah, that fucked me off. Just like driving wedges into my personal life now. And then I find out that day that you're also talking to Taylor, which I don't have a problem with on its own. But then I saw the screenshots. Um, you did show remorse in your short talk with her, and it seemed to mirror my sentiment that you wish it could have ended differently or gone differently. But then you begin telling her something's wrong with him. He's never been the same after his accident. He thinks I'm out to get him. He thinks I'm evil. I think he needs to talk to someone. Um, Taylor showed me this, and she was just like, why is she telling me this? Again, I don't have an issue with the two of you talking. Um, I don't have an issue with the two of you talking, but I will say it's a little strange to fight with someone and then turn and talk to their partner without giving it some time and saying disparaging things about them that would clearly influence the partner's perception of them. Usually people after a fight know not to go that low. Like, I don't know, that just strikes me as respectful and proper etiquette to do those things. Or to not do those things, excuse me. The only thing that you should be talking to Taylor about on that topic of the argument, if anything, was that there was a falling out, which you did. But then you went into this weird giant block tangent about how I'm basically deranged and that I think you're out to get me. That I'm basically obsessing over you, overanalyzing everything that you know, um, like that I think you're cruel. Like I don't think I may overanalyze your things. I apologized and admitted that earlier, but you just like go into like all these other things that branch off of it. That I think you're cruel. That I'm severely traumatized by my past. That I need professional help. That I'm mentally unwell. That was the final straw for me. That fucked me off so hard. I was genuinely stunned at how fucking low you went. Not gonna get angry. It's just your texts had a very Kurt has problems. Keep an eye on him. Kind of feel to them. And Taylor felt similarly. First, actually, before I even saw them. That's why she sent me the screenshot. She was just basically just like, why is she talking to you? Why is she talking about you like this to me after a fight? She said it felt spiteful. And I'm inclined to agree. Like, are you just not aware of yourself or something? You know, you cut me off from a chunk of my friend sphere, and then you're saying things to one of the remainder of my small circle, you know, saying things that would clearly influence them to see me differently. Like, could you imagine if I texted Josh after that evening after that and said like, yeah, bro, we had a falling out, and she's just not the same anymore. She thinks I'm out to get her. I was just trying to be reasonable with her. I just like to see her get professional help. It's her trauma. She's really not doing okay. What would that look like to you? Coming off the back of a fight, because I know you're not a goddamn idiot, Tyler. That's drama. I guess you could argue that I started drama that day by my lame ass Facebook post, but you absolutely escalated the drama to a whole new level than I could possibly conscionably come to, you know, think that either of us could do. Like, I'm getting like tongue tied. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, you've done things that have upset me, that I come to you about, and I don't throw a hissy fit or try to silence you or go on a weird fuck Tyler campaign. You know, it's like, I'm not going to talk to him, so no one else should either. Let me hit up his girl next and try to poison that well as also. That is the most toxic thing I've ever seen you do, Tyler. I couldn't believe, like, Tyler sent that? Wow. Like, actually, the entire way you handled the argument and everything after was shameful. I was actually speechless. Like, I'm very uncertain of your intentions after that, and what you're thinking of me at a given time, especially starting in June, you know, with the cops. Every interaction I've had with you for the last year is underlined with weird vibes. Like I should watch or say what I watch what I say or do, you know, wondering if you think I'm crazy or secretly hating you, that big bad Tyler's out to get me. You know, I have felt very unsure of how to approach you for a long time. It's a new feeling I've had to adapt to, because you know, you've been like a homebody, like, you know, half the time I've met you now. You know, and that time is slowly being the minority portion of my time knowing you. You know, you went from being like, I don't know, man. It was originally your criticism of me that I didn't want to talk about things after my overdose, but it's turned into you that I have to be careful with when talking to about where we're at on things. You know, like, I tried so hard to keep and repair the friendship you wanted to have. July's phone call nearly freaked me out, and it actually really surprised me at how well we both handled it. I was super proud of us both for it. However little it did to fix anything, it felt good to just talk to you like we used to. But I can't be doing this anymore. You've begun to affect my personal life now, with police calls and gossiping, painting me in a negative light to my girlfriend and friends. You've shown that you don't understand boundaries anymore, and you're incapable of being my friend. And you're more and more losing sight of what lines are not to be crossed. I don't like applying the label drama to anything you do after, you know, having gripes with feeling that way about me. But that's kind of the role you've taken on in my life, is drama. I don't know what your intentions are throughout all this, but this is just how your words and actions come across to people. You know, you can't tell me that I read too much into things, because that means you've now opened the door to you possibly overreacting. I don't know. Fuck it. I don't care what you tell them. Your friends, your family, my friends I used to have. that I'm this unwell drama whore, that I schizophrenically think you're out to get me, and that I think you're this awful person that I obsess over. Like, just know that I would never drag your name through the mud like that to your friends or partner. I would never think to hit up Devin or Josh after that, after I just got done ragdolling you over text, and tell them how paranoid and unwell you were. I'm sorry, that's unbelievably backstabby and fucked. I was actually astonished that you went that low. I just couldn't speak. I couldn't. Like, fuck, man. It's like, stop influencing my friends. Stop driving everyone away from me. Stop hiding me from me every time. And talk to me like an adult instead of playing these fucking little girl games. That's when I gave up. That's when I gave up. And that's when I sent that horrid text to you the next day, telling you not to speak to me again, which I do regret. I was pushed to my limit, and I went too far. I don't remember exactly what I said. I deleted all of our text logs after that. I said something to the effect of that I wished I had died that night. I don't actually feel that way. I do feel hurt in seeing you just change, though. I just really couldn't believe you going behind my back like that. It's crazy. Like, I never thought these things about you that you swear up and down that I do. And actually, I honestly didn't get any hint of malicious intent from you. I actually haven't. But I mean, now it seems like an appropriate belief to hold. When you did and said things to try and discredit me, to dissuade the people around me from me, away from me, it's kind of been self-prophesized now, Tyler. Like, you say that like I paint you into a villain. Kurt thinks I'm this cruel, calculated bitch, I think you said. Like, dude, no, I didn't. That's you actually doing it, though. Like, now, like, it's self-prophesized. Like, plot twist, you're the villain. You're not a villain, I'm sorry. I don't actually think these things. It's just like, why else would you go behind my back like that, though, and spread rumors after a fight? That's the confusing part. Is like, I'm told that like Kurt thinks these bad things about me, and then I go out and do these bad things to him. It's just like, what am I supposed to think then? Do I think these? Do I finally cave in and actually begin to think the things that you think that I think? Dude. Just telling people that like spread rumors and that I'm unwell and secretly hate you and sway friends away from me. Like, I'm not sure what your intentions are now, but you surely must know how these actions look to everyone else. I just hope you know that by now, that you know what these last 18 months have been like for me. And what an upstream fight it's been, trying to constantly tiptoe around and resuscitate the friendship that you asked to have with me. I don't know. Being your friend doesn't feel very good. I didn't talk about you much after that, after all that in August. Those screenshots I sent you on Google Chat or whatever the shit, those screenshots were from a couple days after, and then I just totally shut down, and then I didn't talk to I was in the car taking a shit for about 5 or 6 days, and I stayed to myself for a while, and I didn't talk to nobody. I just didn't know what to think or say, and I felt terrible about the world and myself and what everybody now thought of me. I didn't want to be seen by Taylor for a while, and after she heard from you what a freak I am, I wondered if you had told anyone else similar things and what they thought of me now. So yeah, I haven't discussed you with anyone but Taylor really. And that was really just for a couple days before I realized that I shouldn't be thinking about it. It was it wasn't good for me, and I would just keep sinking lower and lower the more I did think about how hurt I was. Oh, minor topic, kind of an aside. Um, Josh Snapchatted me in late August. Josh Sampson. He Snapchatted me in August, which was I was a little surprised because he had me blocked on Facebook after you told him to, and he also like never. I just never see him on Snapchat. I guess I don't use Snapchat, and I never see him use it. So uh, he sent me a TikTok video over Snapchat about something like it was about Pokemon cards. I watched it. I don't remember what the video was about. It was about Pokemon cards, and I wrote back to him. I said, "Thanks for sharing, Josh. I hope you're doing well." And he saw it, and he began typing, and then blocked me. Um, I think he may have like accidentally sent that to me. Yeah, I got excited for a second, and then he blocked me, and I was like, "Oh, right." And then he sent me this just yesterday. Um, I'm gonna insert some screenshots right here. He sends me a drawn picture of what looks to be a noose. I could be wrong about that, but after what he wrote to me shortly after, it looks like a fucking noose. I just want to move on from this shit. As much as it sucks, I have to. And it's shit like this that doesn't make it any easier. Like, what the fuck? I couldn't imagine Josh saying shit like that to anyone or anything. What the hell did you tell him about me? What did you say to people? Go die? I don't know. Josh has been really weird. Again, like he blocked me on Instagram or on Instagram on whatever the fuck it's called, Snapchat. Um, and unblocks me, sends me that. Oh, he's also created 6 TikToks accounts to follow me with. I get a new follow from him about once every 2 weeks. So I don't know what's going on with you or him now. I'm just I don't know this whole thing. I'm just getting real high school vibes dealing with all this shit. Just, just drama, just all of you, just drama. I don't know, just. But yeah, I with you swaying public opinion of me and getting all of our mutual friends to break away from me. I know most of them were your friends to begin with, so I can maybe kind of get why they'd favor you. When in the very beginning, I was just like, why did, you know, Tyler talk to them and told them to distance themselves from me, and none of them came to me and asked for my side of the story. Well, I don't know. They're your friends and family, first and foremost, and I'm secondary to them. I can understand that, I guess. I don't I don't bear anything against, like I considered like Devin and your mom friends, but I'm not gonna hold that up above their head. But you know, but Josh was mutually our friend, remember? For you to just claim him like that is pretty fucking weird, Tyler. I don't even want to know what you told him to get someone as passive as Josh to not want anything to do with me, and then send me text saying to go die and drawing like a weird cryptic thing that looks like a noose and sending nonsensical things and blocking and unblocking me. I don't even want to know what you told him actually. I think it would hurt me too much. Um, I don't know if I'd be able to handle it. You know, such a, I don't know, such a passive person. But I couldn't imagine ever calling anybody a fucker. Calling me a fucker and to die. Like, it just sickens me to no end now. And I want to cry every time I think about what you've done to me. Like, that's why I cannot think about it. And I'm sorry if I get emotional during this video. This is the first time I've thought about this in a while. I made these bullet points that I'm looking at um, about a month and a half ago. I haven't touched them, and finally today I'm ready to make the video. So just doing my thing. So yeah, like, I don't know. It's just like, this is somebody I really liked, Josh, and got along with, and at times been protective of, stuck up for, and like I defended him heavily against Andrea, if you remember. Yeah, I got really heated sticking up for him one time. Excuse me. Um, got acid reflux. It's been fucking me up. But yeah, it was like right before the 2020 election. Andrea heard that we were going to pick up Josh, and she asked about his political affiliation for some reason, saying that we shouldn't give him rides if he's not a Biden voter. Um, you and I were both asking her what her deal was, basically, and I had to excuse myself from the conversation because I was going to start yelling at her. I remember, I remember, despite her being reprehensible, um, that I was trying to keep calm and keep it lighthearted. And I remember even like cracking a joke. I said, well, he's riding with or without Biden. And she didn't like the riding with Biden joke. I remember that. Oh, by the way, Andrea and I are cool now. Um, this is our short text exchange. I'll share that now. But yeah, I don't even want to know what he thinks of me now because he's blocking me everywhere and sending me violent shit. Um, Another side topic, um, your weird sudden animosity of my fetish. You went from somebody who was very adamant about pulling me out of the closet to someone who now says I need sex therapy. I told you early on, um, how did I say this? I told you early on that I was into it and that I was nervous to act anything out, and you really wanted to try things out. You know, I thought that was cool of you. There were several points where I'd feel guilty and ask, is this something you actually wanted? And you'd smile and say, yeah, it's fun. And then sometime in July this year, you completely flip script and it's act like it's something wrong with me and telling Taylor that I need help for it. Without being graphic, it's kind of messed me up to be shameful by the same person who wanted me to explore this. And I'm very uncomfortable talking sex now. And it's kind of made things awkward for Taylor. And then everything's just kind of sad and weird whenever, you know, things come up and we're talking. I don't know. It's just I just kind of shell up. I'm just like, I don't want to talk about this. I just feel gross. Um, Another minor thing, I guess. I didn't realize I had so many minor things lined up in a row. Um, I wrote this a while back. I wrote these. Another minor thing to add, if I may, something I felt was unnecessary and hurtful was when we talked on the phone in July, and I was asking you if things were okay with your relationship. You know, remember I was really concerned about you. There was a point in that discussion where you got really defensive and you said, "It's the best relationship I've ever had." And in a tone I can only describe as snobby but restrained, as if you had more to add to it. It felt like it felt more like a punch to the face than you trying to ease my worry. I know we ended that last time with me saying that I wouldn't bring up that topic again. You know, my concern for you and Josh's relationship. I'm still sticking to that. I'm not wanting to talk about your relationship, but just how I felt after trying to help you. I felt that on the face of it, it was really uncalled for. Like, why would you respond to that? Why would you respond that way after, after you text me concerning things for months and I expressed my concern? And then if we delve deeper, there was about a 3-month period, like March through May, where we were texting and you couldn't talk about your boyfriend without writhing in agony, wondering things about him. You know, you talk about how you felt neglected and unloved and unfulfilled and unappreciated, and just working yourself up whenever he became the focal point of the discussion. And you saying, it's the best relationship I've ever had. Aside from that coming off as you rubbing your new boyfriend in my face in a strange performative way, it made me feel especially horrible because if somebody else if someone else that brought you so much heartache and frustration at the time, earlier this year, let alone right off the bat of the relationship, right before you things got. Let me start this over. Okay. It made me feel especially horrible because, like, if somebody else brought you that much heartache and frustration at the time, right off the bat of a relationship before things got brighter for you both, while you were both in the dark in an uncertain period, if you really preferred to feel that than our time spent, then that would mean I must have really made you cry and second guess yourself constantly, at least that amount across the entirety of me dating and living with you. And I don't mean to put it in a way like I'm upset that somebody is better than me way. It just felt like an unnecessary below the belt shot when I was trying to be there for you. But if you really were that miserable with me, then I am sorry for doing that to you. And I honestly wasn't aware that I made you feel that way. That I didn't realize that I made you cry more than Josh did. I honestly wasn't aware that I made you feel that way. And I wish you could have told me that I was hurting you so much that whole time. I just wanted to be there for you, whether it be concern for your well-being or anything frustrating on your mind. Oh, and it's just like, I know what you're saying by now, or however long into this video that we are. I've got an hour and 18 minutes worth of footage here. I don't know, it's just, I just imagine what you're kind of like saying by now, just like rolling your eyes at this video, or this is you reading into things again, Kurt. You just read too much into things. It's like this line again. So what? I'm just supposed to take these things that you say? When you tell me that you'd rather feel unloved and uncertain for months than spend 2 years with me, when I'm trying to be there for you as a friend, a friend you wanted to have. Or when you tell my girlfriend that I'm mentally unwell after a fight with you. Or when I wake up and I find I have tons of friends whisked away with you after I know how gossipy you can get. I'm just supposed to ignore it and get over it and not look into it? You think I should just grant you constant immunity whenever you do things like this? It's like, you're reading too much into it. You're overreacting. You're causing drama, Kurt. I don't seem to have this problem you speak of with anyone else. No one else makes me feel like a crazy person like you. You even talk behind my back like I am. I only hear this diagnosis from you, and again, I'm not the only one picking up on this, Tyler. You know, Taylor brought those texts to me, wondering why you'd send her such things after you and I just had a fight. But a fight that I tried to de-escalate, that I didn't want to have. She told me it seemed petty and weird and dubious that you'd contact her after such a huge misunderstanding, resulting in a mass social excommunication, telling her things that you've ascribed to me, painting me to be unstable. She said it felt like you were trying to make another separation happening by poisoning the well between her and I. So I'd argue that no, I don't read too much into things, but that you're just oblivious to the harm that you do and get upset when I notice and pointed it out. I'm not crazy because you don't realize how hurtful you are. How hurtful you've become, I should say. And lest we forget that you apologized just a couple months ago for using me emotionally for 8 months last year. You don't think that this might branch off of that? What the fuck is wrong with you, Tyler? I just want to shake you awake sometimes. It's like, Tyler, I love you. I do. I love you. And I thank you for a wonderful first 16 months. I had one of the best years of my life with you, COVID and all. I'll take it. It comes with, if COVID included. And I appreciate all that you've done for me. I will always look at that time fondly. But I don't feel healthy being within text shot of you anymore. You drive this narrative that I'm making you into a villain and that I think nasty things of you. This is clear projection if I've ever seen it, and I'm now addressing it head on. I'm not taking these accusations on the chin anymore. Because I may have fucked up in a few spots with us. In fact, yeah, I've fucked up in a few spots with us. But I don't ever see you stepping up to the plate and saving the friendship you wanted to have. It's always me coming to you. I'm not this great bastion of righteousness and perfection, but I do put a lot of effort into those I keep near me, my relationships. And I feel like you never see the effort I give. And you only ever want to point out my faults and the fuck ups. I honestly believed we could do it when you pitched this idea to me that we could be friends and stay in touch. I kept believing. Until this day, I kept believing. All while you're bashing me and blocking me and overreacting, before even taking in what I've said, calling me a monster and manipulative for daring to express myself in a non-harmful way when I was hurting, and you wouldn't talk to me. And getting agitated when I would bring up old stuff that needed addressing before we can healthily continue forward. So, it's like I've fucked up in some spots. I'll keep saying it. I fucked up. We both seemed very unsure of each other, though. Oh, on a side note, Taylor pointed out that you and I almost completely mirror each other in what we were saying in last month, or not last month, in September, August's text conversation. In the text conversation we had, she said that we were basically just saying the same things at each other. She thought that was interesting. But yeah, and while I absolutely take responsibility and acknowledge that that I was out of line on Facebook last month, where that came from is the same place you sending WPD to my door came from. These are symptoms of the main issues that I've wanted to smooth over with you for a year now. A lack of trust and possibly trauma. And honestly, it probably should have been addressed almost 2 years ago. It's like, basically, we have a lot that needs addressing before we can even humor the idea of being friends. To prevent actual drama, like cops, misunderstandings, going behind backs, and childish Facebook jabs. And we skipped over that part. And I can't seem to fix anything now that we're at stage 4 cancer. This whole year I've been trying to find ways to address both of our pain, but you seem to see it as me rocking the boat each time. Each time I bring it up, it's just like, I tried to bring it up in November last year. And it's just like, you wouldn't talk to me. And then I'm a monster, and it's just like, oh my God. Even with how surprisingly well July's talk went for us, it still felt like you treated the conversation with me needlessly dredging up stuff that you just kind of played along with to humor me. Or you got standoffish at certain points and fought back a little, like with that boyfriend remark. It's the best relationship. You even seemed offended when I asked what format decks Josh plays in Magic. I was just asking, I was trying to turn over a new leaf and talk, what's he like? I don't know. He plays Magic. I don't know. What decks does he play? What formats does he play? I don't have the text anymore because I deleted everything. But you said, you can probably go find it. I don't know if you still have everything. You're just like, why would I ask him that? I don't know. It's just like, I don't even know why you keep unblocking me and coming back into my life if I'm just going to be the only proactive one here, trying to repair a sinking ship while having to pussyfoot around your false notions of me. Like I confessed in July, you've been so unapproachable, just fearing that what I might say might upset you or cause another storm of text my way if I even try to make anything happen. And then you run away and I'm just left holding the olive branch I tried to extend. But I'm here again, filming this dumb fuck video that you're probably never going to see. I'm here again, not you coming to me again, making a video because you can't handle text messages or something. Again, the lack of appreciation I get for trying so hard to tailor my messages to you in a palatable way, the note, the video, trying everything I can. The effort and love I give will go unnoticed. Only after I'm now pointing it out will you even acknowledge and consider how hard and still, how hard I try and still care. Like I said in our Google chat conversation, that you've always been weird to me when we're physically apart and relegated to texting. Not as weird as you are now, but going back to the beginning when I was still living in Wasilla and would stay the weekends with you, I'd go back home and you'd be short with me. It was just like, I remember actually like Nick being in my room with me. I remember Nick being the one to cool you off one time. I know in August I told you not to talk to me again, but you didn't even try to reason or reach out after that. You never do, in fact. You just let it happen. Like you said all you had to say, I guess, when you blindly trampled over me on Messenger, but not when I again extended the olive branch so that you can come back to me and add something constructive to the discussion. It's like every time you go nuts, you see red, you do your damage, you fuck right off like a kid storming to his room before slamming the door, and leaving me to wonder what I'm supposed to do to reconcile or solve anything with you. This pattern is so overplayed. And I don't even know why you want to be my friend. Why that's something you even requested of me in the first place if you're just going to be hostile and avoidant. But let's say you did want to honor my farewell text and thought, well, that's that. Better not talk to him now. When I sent that, I had found out about you getting someone else to go through my friends since you couldn't see my account since you had blocked me, and corral them up for you and get them all to block me. That was long after I sent you prior texts, trying to be rational, wanting to talk, and leaving things open ended for you to pick up. So you had more than enough time within that frame to find something to say. You're never the proactive one, Tyler. Never wanting to be the bigger person, never wanting to surprise me, uh, never wanting to carry water. That's my job. To tepidly try and pick up the pieces off the ground without making enough noise for you to come back and call it drama. Well, I'm here again. Hello. I'm here again, and as it's been foretold by legend, and has been etched into the stars, that the one they call Kurt would return meekly and flinchingly once again to repair the stability of the two warring nations. Except this time, I'm not really here to fix or continue a friendship. I'm here to fix things properly to end a friendship. I never wanted to be mean or come off to you like this once. But I can't just have you skate away without knowing what you do to me. Thinking I alone am what sunk things. Because historically, I've let people walk over me. A few exes, my father, I don't speak up, and I've stuck around in situations that have costed me my safety, my money, almost my life. I'm a pretty hopeful person, as it turns out, believe it or not. Especially when it comes to the people close to me. I have a pretty soft spot for people in my life. I don't let many of you in. And I'll refuse to let something die on the vine. And I'll break myself trying to save it. That's my reason. I don't know what your reason is for coming back to me each time. Hitting unblock. Do you just miss the old times? Because I feel like you want me in your life. Like, I feel like you want me in your life somewhere. You just don't know where in your life to put a relic like me. A relic that, well, majorly fucked you up. I just feel like you just don't know where to categorize me or what to file me under. Is Kurt my friend? How distant should I be from him? If that's your reason, I understand. It doesn't explain everything that you've expressed or done or I don't know. But it would explain a few things. I know a certain action of mine in the past has made it difficult for you to both like me and forget me. You remind me of it here and there, just as you did on Messenger. So that was clearly on your mind as you unloaded on me, my suicide attempt. It's clearly something that you think about. You brought it up to me when you blocked me in November as well, last year. And you brought it up to my girlfriend in August. And you brought it up to me in August, right before you blocked me again. I know for a fact you've brought it up to your family and boyfriend, especially after our fight, when you cut me out. It was obviously on your mind, as I said earlier, and I know how gossipy you can get. You kept telling me about like Devin and Jordan's lack of a sex life and their relationship, and then telling me like, oh my God, shut up. You have to hear this. Devin has a porn addiction. And just like airing out their dirty laundry to me, even after I tell you like it's none of my business. So like I know you've told people. I know you've like used other people as your therapist. I know you've talked about it with other people. You've talked about it with Taylor. So you've tried to discuss it with Taylor. I know for a fact. And I can only imagine how many other people you've said how many other people you've said what you've said to her. When it comes to my suicide attempt, primarily the first one, the one that you were there for, that seems to be the one that you're most kind of affected by. When it comes to that, you don't care to have a discussion with me. It's like you want to talk about it with other people or use it as a weapon against me. I'll repeat that. You want to talk about it with other people, but use it as a weapon against me. I learned last year pretty well not to bring it up with you in November. And that it's only ever something you bring up as something to throw in as you're already unloading on me, right before you're about to block me. Like, go check. Go check your messages. This is how it goes. When you brought it up out of nowhere in August, I knew. I was like, yup, this is a sign she's about to block me. The way you bring it up each time is always in such a way as to justify all that you're coming at me with. Like, you just kind of use it up as like I'm going to unload on you, Kurt, and here's like the big reason why, the big umbrella cause of what's going on here and why I don't trust you. Because you tried to kill yourself next to me. That's something that you bring up like each time you block me. It's clearly something on your mind, and it's clearly something that gets you emotional and gets you to lash out at me. And I don't know, I can understand like maybe in some way I earned it. I don't know. Just know that I have never and would never rub your pain and trauma or anything of that nature in your face like that. Mine is a weapon that you use against me. To you, I will never let that down. And for that, I cannot have you be a part of my healing process. If you're just gonna, if it's just gonna be a weapon for you, like if it's just gonna here's why you suck, Kurt. Here's why you're manipulative. Here's why you're drama. Here's why you're a monster. You're a monster. You know that? Do you think that fixes anything? It makes me not want to be open with anyone about my mental health. And I've had to fight through the things you've said about me to better myself. Some of the things that you've said that are months, even a year plus old now, they still resurface. This year has brought a lot of healing for me, despite being shackled to your words and your lack of healing. You wouldn't treat a serious issue like this the way you have if you were getting help for yourself or wanted me to heal. You absolutely wouldn't wield it like a weapon. You would take it seriously if you were serious about me healing and you healing. I want you to heal. I want to move on. I know I hurt you badly, but I don't think that lends credence to making you feel make you to you making me feel so lowly. I honestly feel like I made you the way you are today. All these things I've had to combat and fight through, all these notions of me, I somehow created. Yes, I absolutely regret hurting you that night and whatever long-lasting effects I may have caused. But I've suffered too, and I feel like you forgot that a while back. Not only did I like obviously I didn't come out of that unaffected. Obviously. I went to the hospital. Not only did I down a concoction of an entire Gatorade and 20 grams of antidepressants, but I had to face the fact afterward that I am now capable of that and all the joyous existential terrors that come with such knowledge. I freaked the shit out of those around me. So I got to come home to worried faces and open my phone to texts and voicemails from every one of my close contacts. It was very shameful. And I had to come home to you too. And I am to this day in a recovering process. Taking something that I once felt like I had to hide and let fester and now bring it out into the sunlight so it can be properly addressed. And it's been a day-to-day process ever since. I don't know. This just doesn't feel like a good way of healing for both of us. It's just I can't have this around. It doesn't help anything to hold a grudge against someone for their mental illness and forever seeing them through that filter. Judging someone by their worst day. Imagine judging someone by their worst day forever. Imagine, let's use you as an example. Let's take a day where you were at a pretty low point. Things didn't go your way that day, or someone hurt you, or I don't know. And I don't know. I just feel gross even making an example. You're actually doing it, and I feel gross making just an example. Just like basically, just like judge like takes like your worst day, like a day that you failed, or a day that things didn't go your way, or you were hurt, or plans fell through, or you didn't get the thing you wanted, or you just couldn't take it one day, and like you collapse in the middle of a grocery store and just scream into yourself. People are looking at you and just go, could you imagine, like, what if somebody thought like, oh, she must be like this a lot? Could you imagine that? Judging someone by their worst day? Like, that's just all I am to you now. All I am to you is just my suicide attempt. That's what you're spelling out to me. That's what I'm receiving. Kurt just eats pills. Kurt's just drama. Kurt's just like mischievous and fucking deceitful, and he's out to get me. You're the one who actually thinks that I'm out to get you, by the way. Like you thought that I was going to come to your house and kill you or kill myself or something. You told that to me twice. You think these things of me. Like, I don't think these things of you. despite your inappropriate behavior with Taylor and my friends and to me, to just your absolute just disregard for everything that I feel. Just taking my suicide attempt, rolling it up and just like rubbing my nose in it. You did this, Kurt. You're horrible. You're a monster. It's just like, even if it's affected you as well, it absolutely has affected you as well. Like, it doesn't help to hold a grudge against me, against anyone for their mental illness, and only forever seeing them through that filter, judging someone by their worst day. Because it doesn't help me get better. It doesn't help you, and it doesn't help a relationship with that person. Nothing healthy will grow from that, and it's just a death sentence for any relationship. I think our time needs to come to an end for good, Tyler. And if it can't exist, then I'd like to, I guess, give it a proper burial, respectfully and graciously, not with insults, not with screaming matches under false pretenses, and not with either of us throwing our hands up, blowing up on the other, and as I was the last to do shortly after you. I never wanted you as an enemy, and I don't want to be painted as yours. That's not how something you and I had should end, I feel. That's all I asked of you the last time we spoke. I have a second and final apology, if you'd like to hear it. If you've gotten this far, this is something that I've never quite known how to begin talking about. But I feel like I owe you my best attempt because of how impactful it was on you. So, real quick, that explanation that I gave to you as to why we are the way we are in one of those screenshots that I sent in September, is that right? In case you're not recalling what I'm referring to, I'll find it and read it to you again. All right, I found it. So I wrote to Taylor. I said, Tyler and I's dichotomy, the best I can understand or explain. My overdose did a number on her. Neither of us knew how to deal with it. In part, Tyler saw it as an act of betrayal, leading her to lose trust and love for me, leading her to become antagonistic towards me. I reacted to this by feeling more and more like she was always holding back things to say to me. And through this, we continued forward without ever really addressing anything. And I absolutely hold blame for this. And we've kind of just coasted on these feelings for a long time now. And we can't seem to trust each other. I hope that's a fair assessment. I hope that's close, approximating close to correct at least. If there's anything you'd add or subtract or substitute, the best I can understand it. And this is the part where I bring my own shit into the sunlight. because I'm not blameless. I've done things to you that I can't undo. Um, this this is scripted. This part is scripted. So yeah, this is kind of my apology, and I hope it explains and accounts for things, for something I did. All right. It's made itself very clear to me that my attempt is what fucked us up. We had times where we had bickered and disagreed, but that was just couples shit. Things didn't become uncomfortable and irreparable until that happened. I scared you. I've clearly kept you at the edge of your seat when you're not around me ever since. When you're around me ever since, excuse me. I don't know the extent of your trauma even. I don't know how hard it must be some days. I didn't even know I had it in me. I've never had my demons pull me underwater like that before. And you were just as unsuspecting. Not to stray from the apology, but it's been hard for me as well. It's only fair I suppose that I at least be hit with guilt and shame. I still can't look anyone in the face when asked about it. I can't believe I let myself go there. And I can't believe I took you there with me. You were a wonderful person to me, and still are. Beautiful, valuable, and perfect. And I wish there wouldn't have been anyone else. I wish there wouldn't have been anyone there with me, especially not you. Even if it meant my life, at least no one would have to be there to witness. We had such a good time these days leading. We had such a good time in the days leading up to that night. We had made dinner every night. We made a gingerbread house, and we won reindeer games together. I still have no answer as to what went wrong, what tipped the scale in that direction. And all I have for you is regret, shame, and the uncertainty of if I should even lend a shoulder to cry on or not knowing if my presence pains you too much to even attempt it, if I should keep away from you or turn and face you. Internally, I don't know what to make of it. I don't have all the pieces. I don't even remember much of before, during, or after it all. So honestly, I can't come to a solid conclusion. It bothers me to no end. And despite me not being in a rational state, I hold myself accountable as if I was. We're still responsible for drunk driving, after all. And I've never believed in mental illness excusing anyone's actions. We're never in our right minds when having these thoughts. We don't consider our families and friends. It's an alluring feeling to be whisked away from our problems. It's almost fantasy-like. To just disappear. It takes someone very strong to pull someone back down to the ground like you did. I hate myself for what I did to each of us, to everyone, in that moment and forever onward. And I hate knowing that to you, I will always be that. I'll always be seen as that action. That I'm to be feared and kept at an arm's distance. That I'm a pill-eating drama whore. That I thrive on attention. And that everything I do has an ulterior motive. That I don't see reality. That I'm not to be taken seriously, listened to, or believed. And that I'm a crazy person from that point forward. Tyler, could you imagine the day that you were at your lowest, a moment of weakness, and someone very close was there, and they were hurt by it, and they held that over your head for the remainder of your friendship? That's the lens they will always see you through. They either consciously or subconsciously define you as what you were like on your worst day. And you can't convince them otherwise, no matter how hard you try. They hold it against you too much because they had to see it. And you have to live under that and know for a fact that every interaction you have or observation of you is contextualized by that one terrible moment. It makes me not want to be open with anyone else in fear of what they'd think or what they'd say about me to others. I'm not shaming you at all for my attempt affecting you personally. I'm not. I would never do that. I'd be affected by something like that as well, no doubt. If you sincerely wanted to stay friends with me, even after I hurt you like that, I wish we could have been more open about this. So we could begin to repair things and not build a friendship on top of such horrible baggage so that we could healthily coexist platonically. I know it was me who ran away from it in the beginning, but it turned into me having difficulty talking to you. I've been making an honest effort this year. Increased counseling appointments, new medications, being honest about myself to others, being more patient and accepting of myself as well, and several other lifestyle changes that have corrected my outlook on things. The journey is long from over and may never be, but there's no other alternative to survival and fulfillment than perseverance and improvement. Sorry. But then I see you, and you're still stuck in that place. I wish you'd have talked to me as a friend, like what you were going through, as well as a professional. Because you harboring this isn't just healthy for you, but it exudes off of you and into my world every time I have contact with you. Like you don't think I sense when something is off? The reason I've changed, Tyler, is because for the last year and a half, I felt like you were holding back things to say to me. Wanting to say them without saying them. Wanting to try and make things normal without facing them. But also feeling like you could just break down and begin throwing at me the reasons you are the way you are because of me. In fact, I don't feel this. I know this. Because you slip up for brief moments when you get heated and bring up that night as a point against me, or when you brought it up to Taylor. Each time unprompted, you only want to talk about it when it's with other people, or when you use it as a weapon. I maybe had a chance to make things right at one point and get us both couples counseling or something, anything that would unscar us both. But as time went on, and the longer we trudged through the mire, the more things deteriorated. Your feelings of betrayal codified, these notions of suspicion of me worsened, and I began to wonder more and more what was going on inside of you, never knowing how to approach you about it. There. That's your big change that I went through. Hurting you, having to live with it, and watching you have to live with it, without ever knowing how to talk about it or what you thought of me when we'd interact. I don't think you're a bitch. I don't think you're evil or whatever. I've just been really on guard around you because of what you may think of me, what you do think of me, and the grudges you hold. And this guard I have up gets to be too much sometimes, and I'll lose composure, like in the form of posting that snarky rebuttal on Facebook or whatever, and I won't be able to handle the guessing game anymore. Not to excuse my thoughts and actions, but to explain them. This is what I'm talking about. Never knowing what you're really thinking or meaning. Feeling like you're holding back words of resentment and frustration towards me after still feeling hurt by that night. Like, I'm already somebody who has a hard time picking up on sarcasm when I'm being made fun of and subtle social cues. So this just added to that, I guess. That's no excuse for me to take snipe shots back at you on social media, though. I didn't need to contribute to the tension of not seeing eye to eye with each other. As much as I've been preaching about openness and communication this year as a part of my healing, I sure didn't demonstrate it in that instance, did I? I don't know. This isn't going to work, Tyler. Not with the way things have been and currently are. We just don't trust each other anymore. And I feel like we're tiptoeing around each other, and no matter how hard I try to come up with, no matter what I try to come up with to solve it, it hasn't been enough. I wish I could have done more early on to save things. Not necessarily with us dating, but I mean to ease your mind and for us both to get help. Believe it or not, as much as I lay awake each night thinking of stupid shit from the past, I don't hold many regrets. I could count them on one hand, my regrets. And this will always be one of them. Hurting you in a way that forever changed the way you saw me and possibly even future relationships. Hurting you in a way that has stayed with you for so long. I regret hurting everyone involved, even myself. But you were the one who saw the whole thing. As much as I hallucinated, you saw things that were probably worse than I did. As much as I remember being scared shitless by the hands in the bed reaching for me, I've been able to sleep since then. It no longer scares me. But what you saw was real and had real life consequences. You saw the person you love's eyes glaze over as I collapsed to the ground. You held me, you talked to paramedics, you stayed with me over the phone as often as you could while I was admitted. My terrors receded back into my mind. Your terrors likely stare at you whenever you see me. I don't know how to talk. Sorry. I didn't know how to talk to you about it. I didn't know how to talk to you or anyone about it. And I've hated myself every day for not being able to do any form of proper damage control with you. I have no idea what you've thought about me ever since, or the extent of your pain and resentment. Although you've shown me through small windows. You know, I had always wondered what you were thinking when I tell you that I loved you after that. If you believed me. If you still return the feeling genuinely. So that's why I felt what I felt when I read your words on social media. And almost every time we've talked for a long time, always wondering what you meant and what the actual change I went through. And that's the actual change I went through after that night. That's the actual change I went through after that night. We absolutely went about. Sorry. We absolutely went about things the wrong way. And I can nickel and dime each of our own faults. But I have to own up to being what kicked things off in this direction. I'm such a fuck up. I've ruined everything about us. I've messed you up to an unknown extent, and I'm always going to wonder what could have been if I was a better boyfriend, a better friend, a better to myself, and a better person. I'm sorry that I couldn't be better. I'm sorry for the way things have been. I'm sorry for not being able to properly navigate our complexities. And I'm sorry for dragging you to hell. Okay. I needed a minute after that. I think we should end things. I think we should end things if we haven't already. I don't know where you think we're at. We don't trust each other. Nothing seems to work. Someone is always fucking up. Sorry. I've hurt you pretty bad, and I can't stop sorry. I can't stop pissing you off, it seems. Whether it's me being a prick or my attempts to save things. And I can't be made guilty of my mental health. Otherwise, no change is going to come. I do wish that with you, or anything in life, that there was a clear answer as to if I should stick around or not. You know, if waiting for you to talk to me is healthy. If it isn't, like, it probably isn't. Whether you come back to talk to me or not. A lot of the time that I'm finding, we find our own lines to draw. We draw our own lines. It's something that I've been doing with my exes and my dad for a while, but it still feels like a foreign tactic each time. Sorry, my voice is still shaky. And with this situation, the shunning me, the short responses, the amputating me like an arm from your life, and all the pain that I feel from it. I'm not 17 years old anymore. I'm not dating Josie. I can take a hint now. I don't know what I can't really top that. What I just want. I'm sorry if that apology seemed performative at any point. It wasn't. I wrote that without really editing it. I haven't looked at it in about a month and a half either, so I kind of was like reading it for the first time too. It felt familiar but new. Except for the little things, except for the little bit at the end there, I can say that I did the best that I could in terms of you and I. I feel that the damage is kind of too irreparable at this point, though. We've already, we've already, we're already most of the way there, you know, with you removing me from your world. And I'm really worn out from all this. I just wanted to give a good, like, proper burial at this point, if nothing will get better. I think we're both pretty checked out, honestly. I need to stay out of your life, and I can't have this near me either. You're free to see my stuff online or whatever. But I don't think we should see each other ever again. I wish it could have been on good terms. I guess these things never are, huh? Very rarely have I ever gotten to end things on a good note with anyone. There are so very few happy endings in this world. And I love and respect you enough to want it for us both to have. You can continue talking to Taylor if you want. That was never my contention, just on its own. But I can't have any direct ties to you. All I ask is that you behave yourself when talking to her or anyone in my circle. You know, I'm calming down. I hope you know that I really wanted things to work out in one form or another. I really wanted that Szechuan sauce from you too. Maybe next life. But yeah, I'll miss you. I will. I'll miss your family. Thank you for such good times, dude. I'm happy for the time we got along. We did get along, you know. I'm glad that it lasted as long as it did. I've never hit it off with someone so fast. You were a refreshing a refreshing change during my life, in that time of my life. Quarantine was a lot of fun, surprisingly. Camping, out of town trips, bark parks, game nights. Caught COVID from one of my best friends and subsisted on spicy broth for 8 weeks. The date ideas that we'd come up with during lockdown, like making bead art and shit. We were always watching shows and movies. You got me to laugh. You got me to laugh at The Office a few times. 2020, despite social distancing, I felt the most connected to humans than I ever have. So thank you for a lot of things. There are a lot more thank yous than fuck yous when it comes to you. Not to rehash the conclusion of my July letter, but I got to experience so much with you, and you're someone that I needed to meet during that time of my life. I've never hit it off better or faster with anyone else. And even though this couldn't work in any way, you will never be a regret of mine. I like to think that you feel similarly, but that's just something I tell myself. There are moments in my life that, as they're happening, I know I'm going to replay them in my head for the rest of my life. It's so weird to catch myself in those moments as that feeling happens. It feels like I'm living the memory right there. After they happen, I'll relive these moments. Maybe I'd wish I had said something that I forgot to say or was holding back. Maybe I wish I left a different impression. Or maybe it was perfect. In September, I don't know if you remember, in Google Chat, um, I had told you that I had a proposition for you. I don't know if you remember that. Um, I'm not sure if it's a good idea anymore, though. And I was hoping to have had this conversation in person or over the phone. So, but now it feels weird to say. I don't think we should stay in touch, but I was originally going to ask if you'd like to meet for coffee one last time. If we did, we wouldn't talk about any of this because none of it will matter from that point forward. We would just have a decent time and be a couple goofy goobers so that we could end on something of a high note, you know? I just can't stand the thought of hating someone like you forever. I'm somebody that holds grudges. I'm really susceptible to that mindset. And it's gotten easier to loosen my grip on my grudges. I don't want to hold these grudges anymore. I especially don't want to hold them against someone like you, who had such a punch of an impact on my life. Again, I'm not sold on the idea. It's no longer something I'm aiming to make happen. I just need I may need some convincing if you wanted to meet up a final time, but if it's something that entices you, I may reconsider and go from there. There's a song that I kind of had stuck in my head that I've been humming all week. It's called "Coming Back to Me," and the band is called The Naked and Famous. It was also the inspiration for the title of this video, and I'll link it in the description if you're interested. No problem if not. I hope you're doing okay, and I hope that you find closure. Real closure that involves recovery and healing. I hope you can find it in yourself not to forgive me, but to seek help for yourself mainly. If that involves forgiving me, either way, you know. I just hope you are doing okay. I don't want any of my bullshit haunting you and affecting your future relationships. I absolutely don't want that to be the footprint I left behind in your world. I'm still hoping that you get accepted into hygiene school. I've been thinking about that. That's the second biggest thing I hope for you, you know? I mean, fuck, by the time you see this, you may be finished. Science lure is pretty smart. I said this earlier. I'm trying to wrap this up. I said this earlier that if you have anything to say in response of any of this, I'll listen or read whatever you have to say, but I'm not going to reply and begin a new dialogue. I'll acknowledge it, I'll read it, I'll take it to heart, but I can't have a back and forth about this anymore because it doesn't work. Other than that, if you're ever in dire need of anything, or drunk and need a ride home for me out here again, any kind of an emergency, feel free to hit me up. You can talk to Taylor. Um, no bad vibes. At least I don't want there to be. So, all right. Thanks for watching this. Thanks for taking the time out of your day. It took a lot out of me to make this. And I'm sure it's been a ride for you. So I don't know what else to say. So long, gay baby. Big dick bitch.